Welcome to the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast with host Jacqueline Burke. Today's special guests are Connie Smith and Lorrissa StandingAlone.
Welcome, Connie and Lorrissa. Thank you for joining me on today's podcast. How are you?
We are good. I am good.
I'm good.
Here.
Right on. So I've been wanting to ask you this for the longest time. Where did you first meet?
In school.
Really?
Like elementary school. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And you've just been friends ever since.
Yeah, I think it was about grade 4, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We started hanging out, and then I don't know, you go through your teen years and things are wild, and and we stayed close though right until grade 12. And then we went on doing our own things in life. So we lost touch for a bit, but it was never, if I had something going on or Lorrissa had something going on, we always knew that we could reach out, and there would an ear or a shoulder to cry on, or whatever it was.
So after you graduated, Lorrissa, what did you do after graduation?
I moved to Calgary and ended up living with my sister for a bit.
Yeah.
And then I ended up having a baby and moving back home a year after. So then I became a mother.
Oh, nice. And what about you, Connie?
Yeah.
What did you do after graduation?
I went to college. I worked for a year. I took a year off, and I worked for a year, and then I went to the old college and majored in finance and agriculture business.
Oh, wow.
And then after that, 15 years, I worked in the horse industry. So I managed barns and all operations with that. And then that was a huge part of my life, huge part of my life. So yeah, right after school, went to school. I had a baby later on.
Yeah.
So it was actually funny because Lorrissa was crying because her son was graduating, and I was crying because my son was going into kindergarten.
Oh.
Mine was heading off to college and hers was going to kindergarten.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Quite an age gap there, eh? Your family seems so close, and it's just lovely to watch. So when you guys were little girls in school, what were your dreams to do like after you graduate or when you became an adult?
You want to go first, Lorrissa?
Sure. I wanted to be like a dancer when I was younger. It like, I don't know, not really ballerina, but I don't know, in the videos and stuff, and how athletic they were, and they were doing all these flips. That was kind of what I wanted to be and do, right?
Oh, that's cool. Kind of like watching Much Music back.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a backup dancer. That was what I wanted
right
to be.
On. That's cool. And what about you, Connie?
I wanted to be a jockey.
Oh, really?
By the time I was in grade 6, I was already 5'11".
Oh my goodness.
My dreams of being a jockey were no more.
Oh my goodness. That's awesome. Yeah. So then after you graduated and you went to Calgary, Lorrissa, and Connie, you went to college. At what point did you team up and do these beautiful businesses that you have?
I would say we both went through a huge amount of personal learning experiences and traumas and all these sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I said earlier that we always knew there was, someone to talk to or a shoulder to cry on, we never completely lost touch. And then it was funny too, because we always seem to have things happen in sync. So if I have something going on, generally Lorrissa has something similar going on, and that just happened to be the case when we finally decided, hey, maybe we should try and work together.
Oh, that's
So we were both creating, I think, in our own way, but it was new to both of us, I would say. Hey, Lorrissa.
Yes.
And Lorrissa had already done some markets,
okay.
taking actions out and about and her culture out and about. And I hadn't done that. And so I thought, well, I got this creative side, I'm going to do this. And I was kind of phasing out of working in the horse industry because I had a son,
Yeah.
a young son, a baby. And so we thought, well, we'll just, go to this market. Let's give this a try. And the first one I think was not so good.
Oh,
But, there was
But it was
some
fun. Yeah.
we just didn't really enjoy spending time together, being creative together. And we missed laughing with each other. We do that a lot. And just connecting on a personal level about friends and family and life. So and I would say that was around 10 years ago
oh,
that
wow.
we first
Yeah.
decided we're
Yeah.
gonna venture out and do this. And then maybe a year or so after that, we really jumped in with both feet and off we went.
Yeah. So Lorrissa, you were doing markets by yourself before
I had done a few, and then I was doing a bit of crafting. I didn't really take it far.
yeah.
Um, so I just have a story to talk
Yeah.
about. So my son was going off to college, and my mother was moving back to the reserve. So I just felt really upset and really sad, and getting depressed because I'm not saying it wasn't a good thing, but Connie called me and she was like, guess what? I was like, what? She goes, I'm moving back.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
was like, what? So really that offset me and made me happy. And then I wasn't so upset that my family was moving away. So
Oh,
it all worked out and it was meant to be.
how cool is that? How nice. So
Yeah.
this was like 10 years ago?
Yeah, about 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, because I moved away. Well, at that time, I had been living around Bragg Creek.
Oh,
I hadn't lived near Olds, where Lorrissa had been living for those 15 years. Like once I graduated college and went off to work, I moved away.
oh,
And so when I called her and said I'm moving back, it was just like we were both crying. And so it was amazing. Like and we've been in close contact obviously since then.
yeah.
Um, and it's like a marriage, right?
Yeah,
Like there's
absolutely.
times where we know we need time apart. There's times where we know that we'll be our most creative, and there's times where we get together thinking we're going to create, and then we just end up, visiting and having fun and laughing and reconnecting on that level. So
Oh,
it's a good balance, I think.
that's neat. So can you guys tell me, what does your year look like when you're doing markets and you're fitting in your creative and you're working full time and you're have side gigs, right? Like everybody does. What
Hmm.
does your year look like? Like, how do you keep that all together? And then you have family.
Yeah. Do you want to go first, Larissa?
No, you can go first.
Okay.
I know it's a loaded question.
we Larissa and I are really spontaneous in how we book things.
Yeah,
Uh, I would say there are some core places that we like to go where we either know we do well and we're around a group of people that we really enjoy,
yeah.
and sometimes it's just the environment. There's places that we just really enjoy being, and it doesn't really matter at the end of the day if we're making money or not making money. It's about connections and the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Um, but we do have those few events that we book and we set aside time for. So, for example, there's a powwow that we go to every year that's on Lorissa's Reserve, and that's really exciting for me because I get to spend time with her family and I only see them then. So it's once a year, and they've adopted me as part of their own. So I love seeing them. And then we go to, different events that are fun, like the Days of Yore. And then we just fill in the time when we can um, with other events. So a lot of that is based on if either one of us are working or if we have some family thing going on. We just stay super flexible, I think, is the key.
Yeah.
And we don't, generally, we try and go to most markets together because
Yeah.
I don't know, it's when just one of us goes, it's not the same for us, right?
It's more fun when you got someone there.
Because all we do is laugh and we're ridiculous and
No.
we just, I don't know, that's a big part of it too. I think it's not just being out in the community, it's being it's being with each other because that's the time we have scheduled, right?
All right on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how many powwows do you do in a year?
We just do the one.
Yeah.
One year we did try 3 in a row, and that was a lot. Very exhausting. So we just try to stick to the one.
Yeah.
Just because, it's my family's there, and again, cost wise, staying somewhere, blah blah blah. That's probably a lot of the reason why we don't, because they're 3-day events, and we
right.
don't have places to stay. We
Yeah.
tried to make it work the last 3 ones we did, or the last 2, but my reserve is the one we just try to tend to stay with every year,
Oh, that's cool.
just because my mom lives there. And
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys work together.
What's that?
Larissa's mom gets to see you both work together.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
That's good. So when you're that busy, when is your crafting done in the year then, Lorissa?
Well, so if I have a day off, I try to get some stuff done. I was working night shifts here for a while, so I'd bring some stuff in and
Oh, okay.
work on the night shifts. And then if I get in the mood, I actually have to be in the mood to, start one. I do have a few projects that I need to finish up, orders,
Yeah.
but they're no rush. So it's kind of trying to get motivated to do that as well.
Yeah.
But probably basically mostly on my day offs is when I try to.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. You have beautiful pieces, and I know it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, thank
What
you.
about you, Connie? With your art, I mean, that takes time too.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of the same thing. You know, it depends on if I have a commission or if it's for a market.
Yeah.
The commission is a bit more of a priority, but with the market stuff, if I have things that I can, a lot of times I have things that I can take, but Lorissa and I will also set aside time. We try for once every second month or once a month to get together, the two of us, and just we spend an entire day and night just working, making stuff. And it's a process because we like to, we find that we're more creative when we're sitting together and we can bounce ideas off each other and when we just go with it. Sometimes it's a fail and it's not as popular as we think, but a lot of times it's really, it's where our most unique pieces come from, that become the most popular. And we often will have people say, we've never seen stuff like this before. And the energy, they're always saying, you guys have such a good energy. And a lot of that is us, I think, taking the time to work together and have those ideas and being open to listening to what the other person has to say and what their idea is and just seeing where it goes. But also we're very mindful and there's an intention behind all of it. We don't just throw something together and hope that it sells. We're creating it with a purpose. So over the past, and I would say, Lorissa, that's even changed over the last few years. Hey?
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, we were like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
But now it's more, it's deeper than that. We are hoping to provide some sort of healing for people in and through our creations. And so it's really evolved, I'd say, from 10 years ago to now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's about setting aside the time because there is an intention and because there is a purpose. It's not just some quick thing we can throw together. We want there to be thought into it and have that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good. I have another question for you guys. So when you have your best friend in school and the thing you worry about the most is, like when you do graduate and you move on and whether you're going to reconnect. So what advice would you give, say some of the younger women that are going to be graduating and going into college and worrying about not seeing their best friend? What advice would you give to them to continue that relationship, even if there's a bit of distance?
I think it comes naturally.
Yeah,
Um, so I would say not to stress so much about it, not to be so concerned about it.
yeah,
If
Yeah.
you're have that connection and that alignment, it'll find its way back. And for us, it did again and again. And we were maybe sometimes too stubborn or blind to see it when we were younger. And then, now that we're older, it means that much more.
yeah,
So I would say to just like settle into whatever experience you're in
yeah.
because that's what you need at the time. And those people that are meant to find their way back to you most definitely do.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
yeah. That's a nice piece of advice. Because I know a lot of, when they're graduating and they're worried about going into college or their career but they still want to have the connection with their friends, and that's a stressor. Real,
Yeah.
you know. So that's kind of nice that to let them know that, they shouldn't worry so much. Like don't stress over it. And what's
Yeah.
meant to be is meant to be.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
So on your like when you get to see Larissa's family once a year, what is that like? Like aside from your businesses and like is it like coming home?
It is. And in some ways, it's like stepping back in time to when we were teenagers
Oh,
because Larissa lived across the road from the high school when we
oh,
were in school. So we had lunch there. We went there after school. We were there on the weekends, and I lived on the farm. So for me, it was like
oh,
a big deal to go into town and stay in
yeah.
town.
My mom would buy her a box of Kraft dinner because
Oh,
she'd be coming over for lunches.
And actually, one year she gave me a case of Kraft dinner
oh,
when I don't know, I was in my 30s, and she gave me this case of Kraft dinner as a reminder. Like, but it's a lot of fun because I get to see her mom and her brother and her sister, and we were all really close when we were young.
yeah,
And so it's nice to still have that connection and just feel like you're part of it. Like when it comes to the powwows and the culture, and I don't ever feel awkward. I don't ever feel unwelcome. I don't ever feel like I'm not supposed to be there because I think a lot of people do feel that when they go to a powwow or some part of a cultural thing, whether it's, First Nation or not.
yeah.
Uh, I'm just, they always tell me I'm just part of the tribe. So
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
her mom will tell people when we're at the powwow that I'm her adopted daughter. So
Oh, nice.
it's like going home. Like I love going there. I look forward to it every year just
Yeah,
for that, not just to go to the powwow and sell stuff. I like just going and hanging out with her family because
that,
they're
yeah.
yeah.
So what is the powwow like from a market perspective, like from a vendor perspective for you?
Go
It's
ahead, Marissa.
it's it's a lot of fun. Very long days at the powwow because we set up in about the afternoon and we stay till midnight.
Oh, wow.
Just because you get different traffic, right?
Yeah,
dancing doesn't start really till about cools off a bit because it does get really hot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just meeting different people, meeting, it's not just my reserve that's there. It's a lot of reserves that come and do competitions, and people from the States come, and
Goodness.
so different variety of buyers and stuff. And we seem to sell a bit of everything that we have, right?
Yeah.
We just don't have one product for one thing. We have different products for, different people.
Right. That's amazing. And I would imagine the food is fantastic.
Of course.
Yeah.
Look forward to the Indian tacos every time,
Yeah.
and the burgers.
Yeah. Tacos, bannock dogs. Yeah.
Oh,
For,
nice. So, how do you find doing being a vendor at a powwow, Connie? Like compared to doing a market?
I love it because the music is nonstop.
Oh,
So even if
yeah.
you don't get to see the actual dancing and the competition, you still hear the drums. And for me, that's I can't even explain it. I don't, the first time I went to a powwow as a vendor or at all, the first time I went, I was a vendor, but um I don't know, it gets into your soul, it gets into your bones, and you almost crave it. Like as spring comes on, we go to the reserve in July, and so it's like, oh, I can't wait to hear the drums. But it is, like the first year we went, I was tentative because of all these thoughts that people have, right? Like, am I going to be welcome there? Should I be there? Should I,
Yeah.
you know, that was quickly put to rest. Like there was no, you're not looked at any differently than anyone else, right? You can be there. You can, we had some time to go watch some dancing once, and it just, I don't know, it, for me anyways, it does something to my soul. So I love it. I love being there. I love the atmosphere. I love interacting with all the different people and the tribes, different tribes coming from all over the place. And just seeing the regalia and the
Oh,
beading and the
wow.
creativity and the work that goes into that. Like it's just,
That's
there's
amazing, isn't it?
just a lot going on, but it's all really good.
Yeah, right on.
yeah.
So what does 2025 look like for you ladies for markets this year? Do you have a full schedule coming up? Because I noticed that like it's not traditional anymore, like with the markets. They used to start like in the spring and then go and you have the odd Christmas one or whatever, but now it's like full 12 months out of the year.
Yeah, it's really exploded. So we have to, I would say we really pick and choose, hey,
Yeah.
Lorrissa. And like I said earlier, like our schedules depend on it a lot. Family time is really important to both of us. So, if we're going camping or we're spending time with family, going out for dinner, we're not going to book a market. We set time aside for that.
That's good.
So as of right now, we know that there are certain markets we will go to that we book every year.
Okay.
Um, and then we just see what comes up. Maybe there's something new that intrigues us that we go to.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, we don't tend to overwhelm ourselves.
Yeah.
And we also know that there's certain markets or events that for whatever reason our stuff doesn't move. So we tend to do better at event type markets like a powwow, or like when there's something else going on in addition to just a market, aside from Christmas. So around the holidays, we know we do well, and we have repeat customers, and they're looking for us over the Christmas holidays. So
So I guess the important thing for you guys is keeping consistent from year to year. And that creates a bit of structure for you and for your
yeah,
families. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, that's important in that industry to create a plan that way.
yeah,
So that you do have room for, the odd market that pops in there that you might be interested in. So
Yeah.
that's key. So,
Yeah, being comfortable is key.
so I wanted to ask you, so what is your favorite story that you of an experience you both experienced together?
Oh my gosh.
Like one that just either you could laugh and laugh and laugh about it, or one that just
Well,
sticks.
we have a lot of those.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first, Lorrissa?
I can't really think of a
Oh
particular
my
one
gosh.
because they're all, I don't, oh.
There's so many. We have so many times where well, every time we're together, we laugh till our stomachs and our faces hurt. Like we just, I don't know, in some ways we have very different interests, but at the same hand, on a personal level, we're so connected and we're so similar that it's like we're just ridiculous. Like we actually, when we went to a powwow a couple years ago, we were so excited. Can't wait for the Indian tacos, and they're huge. Like they're the size of a plate,
Oh my
and they're
God.
fried bread with all the taco toppings on top. And so we went and got our tacos, and we got really busy. So Lorrissa set her taco on her chair, and she was dealing with customers as I was eating up my taco, and then we were going to switch, and she forgot that her taco was there, and she sat on.
Oh yes, that one.
But I think you still ate it.
I still ate
it. Oh gosh, but it's things like that it happens every time we're together. It doesn't seem to matter what we're doing. If we're at a serious event, we or anything, there's always something going on, and a lot of times people who are on the outside looking in are like, what is so funny? Like, what are they laughing about? And sometimes it's just nothing. Like, I don't know, we just have certain moments, but we also have like those moments where we feel like we need a true friend. Where we're super emotional, whether there's been some kind of a loss. It's I would say it's pretty profound. Hey, Lorrissa?
Yeah.
When we're able to connect in that way, and we do it often, I think, because we are so comfortable with each other, and we have known each other for so long that we know there's no judgment.
Right.
You know, there's only support. And so it doesn't matter what it is. We're able to share it with each other, and I think that helps make our business work as well. Because we know we can rely on that other person, even if one of us is having a bad day or in a bad mood or whatever. We tend to be able to get past it because we know at the end of the day that we're gonna come out the other side of it, and we're gonna be fine, and we're gonna be successful, whether it's just being together that day or having a successful sales or whatever it is. So
that's important. You know, you gotta drop the judgment, right?
Oh yeah.
That's important for people to understand, and especially young women that are going out, like I say, into their career. You just have to kind of forget about that word.
Yeah. And it's I would say it's something that you battle every day, really. And when you go out to markets, Lorrissa and I are, well, now I'm speaking for you. But I would say that we are supportive and friendly and cooperative, and whatever the words are, whether we know that we're going to have an alignment with a person or not. We can't like everybody, we can't get along with everybody, we can't, that's just part of life. But I think we're kind in the way that we do it, and we're not judging necessarily. It's more, this person must need support in this area, or this person may need a different perspective, so we'll be patient, or whatever it is.
Oh, that's good wisdom right there. Okay, Lorrissa, I'm going to ask you, what would be the best piece of advice you could give to a young lady starting out in her career, and say she's interested in crafting and participating in markets full time? So what would the best piece of advice be?
I would just say, just just do what you want to do, know your limits, and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Don't make it, if you can't enjoy it and you make yourself miserable, then don't do it.
Uh,
It's just something you want to do for yourself. It's got to be something you enjoy.
yeah. Something
And
from the heart.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And just sharing that art that you do or whatever with other people will, it brings a little bit of happiness to you, like I sold this. Oh my God, they love it, just having that awesome feeling is wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And what about you, Connie? What would your advice be?
Well, when it comes to working in a partnership, I would say being flexible,
Mhm.
being supportive in that other person and whatever they're going through. And these are just things that Lorrissa and I have learned over the years, and sometimes it wasn't always pretty, I'm sure, but um, as we work together more, laughing, right? Like just having fun, being in that moment, creating together, and being open to other people's ideas, like whether you're in business with somebody or not, I think is super important, especially for Lorrissa and I, because we now create so many things together. Our pieces are a little bit of each of us now. It's not just one person's creation necessarily. Um, and so to just be flexible, be open minded, be kind. Um, yeah.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Well, Lorrissa, I know you have to get going to work, and I appreciate you both being here on our podcast. Love to have you back, probably for season 2. We're going to film in June. So I'd love to have you both back and we can talk some more about perhaps getting ready for powwow in July. Does that sound good?
Sure.
All
Yep.
Sounds
right.
great.
Well, thank you kindly. It's been awesome having you guys. And I hope you guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us at the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast.